Oh,
Here we are. The gang's all here. There's my other camera coming. Is it going to get over here where I want it?
Nice, dude. You got a badass setup.
Yeah.
Got the triple monitors, got the phone.
Oh no,
camera
there's
up.
4 monitors. There's a fourth monitor
shit.
down there with all of my OBS shit.
Neo.
For me, my neurodivergent way, I love this complicatedness, you know, and I really want to try to bring some of the experience of when I was in broadcast to what it is that we're doing here. I'm production all day, you know.
Yeah, dude. Noel's a beast. He's got it.
So, my hopes here, and I'm open to just letting this session be a powwow between all of us, but I do have an agenda that if we can do, I would love to turn this into an episode. That's going to be a behind the music for the song Lincecum. I call it Werewolf because I always mess up the name. Jordan, you know how it's called. What is it
Lycanthrope.
called? Lycanthrope.
Yeah, Lycanthrope.
So whatever reason I think of the C as being whatever.
So like when you think of werewolves, like remember like Underworld, like the Lycans?
Yeah.
Like that's what it is, Lycanthrope.
It's
Lycanthrope.
I'm thinking of the baseball player, Lynch.
Yeah.
Lycanthrope. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to share my screen and I want to share my audio.
Hell yeah, let's go, bro.
Yeah, we can just start recording it. Then, like, dude, we'll listen. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about kind of what inspired you to get into this, like the therapy side of it, how you're processing. You know, you're doing deep work through this AI music and different things like that. Like, and we'll just let it flow, man. And if there's things we want to cut, we can cut it later. We'll stay away from like, you know, a lot of controversial shit or whatever if we need to. But yeah, it was just human conversation, you know?
Okay, I was like, you said that because I would have gone right into the controversial shit.
Yes. Limit the fucks if you can, you know, like just so we look like we're what's the word, like competent, you know, and shit like that. Like,
are you telling me to censor myself and change myself for other people?
Just, I mean, hey, it's the internet is full of people who can't wait to just rip you apart. So just keep that in mind.
Got my production value going. Don't know how. But yeah, we can switch between cameras now. So that's cool. Okay. Can I get a mic check from you guys?
Check. How we doing?
Justin?
Checkity check. How we doing?
See if you can tolerate what's happening here. And I'm going to need a sound check if you can hear what I'm playing. Let's play because it's a fucking banger. So hold on.
Okay. That's perfect, dude.
So we're in the motherfucking zone. All right. Sorry about the swearing. I
don't care if you swear. I'm just saying, like, if I get excited, I have a tendency to use the cussing as a filler or likes or ums and shit. Like I've just been trying to work on my speech because I do that shit all the time and I sound retarded.
It is something interesting, this concept of the V and finding the lower register and being able to be passionate about something while having that deep resonance. Yes, I agree, especially if we're making content for others to experience. We should be mindful of it. With that said, I want us to hopefully do something here that's going to mean a lot to me. Jordan and I were in the trenches of this old program together. I'm going to lean in on a little bit of the insanity. I'm going to try not to throw anybody under the bus, and I'm going to let other people's stories be other people's stories. But we were in a cohort together. So we were courageous men on this journey to find healing in our relationship. And it was a 7-month program, right?
9.
Every day.
We were in it for 9 months.
9-month program, meeting weekly, homework every day, tons of expectations and, daily check-ins with the guys and group support, all these different things. I was like, what is going on here? But I was like, let's go. Let's do it. This is what I need to do. Let's go. If I didn't know what I needed to know until I needed to know it, then okay, I didn't know porn was bad. I just didn't know it. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to do it. But I can see the concept that if you're taking your energy towards your person that you're in a relationship with and expending that energy on something that's fake, then I could say, okay, cool. All right, cool. But I didn't really think it was as bad as it got. The goal was for us to be in community and to help each other and to lean on each other and to sharpening iron and helping each other through. Why the hurt one? You know, there's a song in Hollywood Squares that says, why is the captain the one who lost their mind? You know, why are we being driven by the people that are actually suffering? And we were. And Jordan and I both, for whatever reason that was not defined by us, were not allowed to talk to each other.
We were bad influences on each other.
Yeah. Jordan's unhealthy. Or Noel's unhealthy. Like, we were not allowed to talk when he's my dude. You know, it only took like a minute. We were like, that was my boy, you know?
Yep.
And so one of the rites of passage in this group is to illustrate how far you're willing to go to make this relationship work. People doing the craziest things to prove how far they're willing to go to repair the damage that was in this relationship. Now, so there was a moment where, you know, this is where it got all super psychotic, because we'd be encouraged to do one thing, but then turn around and slapped our wrist for doing it. You know, self-care. The other side of the camp was always encouraged, you got to take care of yourself. But then it was like, but you, on our side of the camp, need to take care of yourself too. So you need to do some self-care. And so one day I was painting. I was making a badass painting. I was killing it.
It was beautiful. I remember that one.
Picture of it. I took a picture of it. I sent it to the cohort. I was like, yo, dealing self-care today. What you guys got? And this guy replied back like instantly. So I knew that this was what he was literally doing. Had the most beautiful Jackson guitar. Now, I had an accident a few years ago where I lost the tips of my fingers, so I will never be able to play guitar again, which is probably a reason why I'm so into doing what it is that I'm doing. But I've always loved playing guitars. I've always admired them, and I did play for a period of time. But I saw his Jackson guitar, and he just ripped the most crazy ass, like, man, I can't even compare it to like Satriani, fucking Steve Vai, Van Halen. Like, it was the most insane lick I've ever experienced. Just sent on a phone right there back to us, and it was like, yeah, that's my self-care. I was like, I'm giving up now. Like, I don't even want to listen to music anymore because of how well he played this freaking guitar. So mad respects for his skills, which is why I'm honored by the whole concept of doing this work, this AI work, because he is the actual artist that this work is stealing from. It's preventing an artist like him from being hired by a producer to then make the music that I'm actually producing without him, right? So I don't want to shy away from what needs to be ethically considered as this work continues. But he sold all of his gear. He sold
shortly after that video.
He sold the Jackson. He sold, and you could go through the list of the insanity, but I was so heartbroken by, are you kidding me? Who gives anyone the right? And he was challenged publicly multiple times. What are you willing to do, Jordan?
Yeah.
And he finally caved. And I was so taken back by it. And, you know, our relationships, what's funny about that little group there is that it seemed like the only ones that were succeeding were the ones running the groups.
Yep.
Or the ones getting paid to be coaches in it. I didn't really see a lot of evidence of people doing this program and actually living a wonderful, amazing life. I have a song about it, and I say, I raise the glass to the top of the class if that's you. I commend you if you feel as though you've done this work and now have a life that you've always dreamed of, then bravo. But I didn't see it at all the entire time I was there. I hit a boiling point and took off. I was escaping back to my childhood home. I grabbed all of my shit and hit the road. And it was so fucking wild because when he lost his gear, I don't have fingertips anymore. I don't have a need for a guitar. And I had an Ibanez. And I was like, dude, don't you live somewhere and whatever? And I'm like, I'm driving across country. Don't you live somewhere? He's like, yeah, I live. And literally it was the next exit. So like I'm doing a cross country trip. I just think of this out of nowhere of like, doesn't Jordan live around here somewhere? And I called him. It was like literally the next exit. I was like, okay, we're going.
Yep.
And I gave Jordan my Ibanez.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was just as a.
Let me. This is so crazy because oh my gosh, I'm tearing up talking about this because this was such like it was a rock bottom point. We were in these groups and yeah, we're in the middle of this intense program and this concept of like I refer to it now as like toxic willingness, and I think these people meant well. The person that writ the program and trained people, he turned out to, well, actually that was a different person who wrote the program we were in. But long story short, this topic of like willingness, like do whatever it takes. Like how willing are you? And I remember the morning I had this conversation with the leader of the group because it used to drive my spouse insane. She's like, I hate that your passion for music feels like it has more value than I do. And that wasn't true at all. It's just we were in such desperate and unhealthy states of mind at the time. Like everybody's lives were falling apart. We were constantly in these groups and just everybody was just at this rock bottom and they were desperate. And we all believed that these people, you know, they had the keys and all it took, and especially like in the addiction recovery zone, it's so fucked right now. I think we're approaching it absolutely wrong. And I remember the morning this happened. I was on the phone with the leader and he's like, hey man, he's like, here's the deal. I was like, guys, I quit playing instruments for a long time. They were all in a closet. Music was one of the only things in my life that I ever felt that I had value in. That was kind of where I produced my value to other people. Like, look at this thing. I have this gift that I was given, and it's kind of the only way I know how to connect. You know, like I didn't know anything else about life because I hadn't found it yet. I was a young man. I was still struggling to figure out just how to be an adult, how to be a man, how to be a father, how to be a husband. I had no idea what I was doing, and music was kind of my only healthy coping mechanism I had. And that morning, I remember it was February 17th, 2019. Okay. I'm on the phone with the leader of the group and he's like, you know, hey, this is a problem. It's causing tension. You know, you got your stuff in a closet, but you can just get the stuff out of the closet, sell it. Why don't you just sell everything? You know? And then I was like, guys, I don't want to do that. These things have meaning to me. You know, the amplifier that I had at the time, I had earned that from a male mentor that I looked up to. You know, he sold me that because he's like, dude, he's like, I wouldn't sell this to anybody else but you, because you got talent, you've got skill, you've got passion. He's like, you were the only one I would sell this to. I sold a guitar my mom got me for Christmas. And it was one of the things that my mom did for me. She was kind of a closed off and distant lady. She did her best, you know, but when I got that I got that for Christmas at 14 years old. And I was like, oh shit. It was like one of the one things that my mom ever did for me that was like, I love you, son. And you know, I'm proud of you. And this is a gift that I give to you because it was an investment. You know, she knew what I had and she saw my passion. She gave me an instrument worthy of that. I sold that thing for $60. Nothing. You know, the guitar I had was my dream guitar. I saw that guitar in a magazine. Like, you know, we used to get magazines back in the day. I was like, that's the one I'm going to buy. And I was fucking roofing houses for $10 an hour. I was playing in cover bands. I was like, this is my dream. I got it. I was so happy. I would have played that thing for the rest of my life. And this guy's looking me, or not looking me in the eyes. I think we're on a Zoom call with him and his wife. And he's like, what means more, Jordan? Your stuff or your wife? And it's at that moment I'm like, oh, God damn it. You know, how do I compete with that statement? You know what I mean? And then I took my stuff to Springfield, Illinois, and I sold it for, I don't know, maybe I think I got like $900 for everything. It was a very insignificant amount of money. And I remember like a piece of me just died. Like that was 2019. To this day, I have not found the passion that I used to have in playing guitar and playing instruments and making music and sharing music. Like I'm still trying to get that back. I just this year bought myself like a decent electric guitar and I'm trying to work back into it, but still it's difficult for me to find this passion that I used to have because of that experience with the groups we were in. Like it destroyed a piece of me. Like it's gone. And I don't know if I'll ever get it back. And when I heard this song that you shared to me, Lycanthrope, you know, just the themes, the elements, and the inspiration behind it, like even like the guitar solo, I was like, dude, that's exactly how I would have played it. I was like, this is how I would have composed this song, you know? And I was like, the elements to it was fantastic. And it did help me awaken part of this fire. Like it got that kindling going. And I was like, dude, I need to pick this shit back up. I need to be more intentional. I need to play more. And I have over this, you know, since you shared that with me, man, it lit a fire. And I was like, God damn it. Like God gave me this thing and, you know, I've lost it. And now it's time to find it again after I heard this one. And it was beautiful in its own right. You know, it's kind of a dark theme song, but it did something for me, man. And it hit me in a way that nothing else did. And that's why it rung out to me. And that story you shared with me about, I remember that day I sent you the video, you know, we're like, this is what I do to help me feel better. I got reamed for that fucking video, dude. I had consequences for that video. I was like, no. And, but no, this song, it spoke to me, man. And it awakened something. It's very crazy how it did it. It was fantastic.
It's just crazy you got reamed for playing guitar. And for you, like there was no questions of like, hey, Jordan, why do you play guitar? Because your answer would have been because it's the way I connect and it's a healthy outlet. Yeah. But instead, they made a false equivalence of like, hey, prove how much you love someone by giving up something that has nothing to do with them, something that you love, something that's healthy. Give that up. Prove it.
Yeah, we were in an environment to where the doctor, the clinical psychologist was like, you know, he abducted Pavlov's dog. And looking back on it, like I didn't know anything about psychology. I didn't know anything about recovery. I was in my like late 20s. Like I'm hearing all this for the first time. I have no idea where to put this, but I'm like, this guy's a clinical psychologist. Maybe he knows more than I do, you know, and this concept while we were in this group was like the addict has to hurt. There has to be pain. That's the only way that they'll change. And in fact, all it did was made things worse for us as, you know, the person who was struggling with an addiction, and for the spouses. Like it destroyed everyone. And I think it had good intentions. You know, I don't think these people are evil in their intent or whatever. Like, but looking back, I'm like, this is wrong. This is not how you heal. This is not how you help people. And that's how Noel and I met. But you know, God has a purpose for everything. And if we wouldn't have been through those things, we wouldn't be here talking on the podcast right now. And that's what makes it beautiful. It's like,
and I do want to jump in here because I think we got into a really important space, and I don't want us to miss this opportunity. When we share these moments of insanity, and there is a lot of insanity that I've already put into the catalog about these experiences. You know, and what's fun about sort of the circle of life here is that even though Jordan and I were in that together, we came to our current state at different directions and different paths. And Jordan gets credit for pulling me out of that insanity because he was like, dude, you don't have to live like that anymore. You don't have to keep thinking that way anymore. Here, this is, you were fed a lie. And so I honor him for doing that. And as I've become more comfortable with what's happened to me, even in how I say that, as I become more comfortable for the decisions that I chose to allow myself to stay in.
That's it right there.
Because none of these things were done to us. And this is also part of what this, like, the psychological torture that it was, is that I did all of these things to me. And like, I have to take extreme accountability over my part in what was done there.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I don't want to be so quick to let people off at the pass, right? I don't want to be so quick to dismiss what was done in the spirit of being an educator, and especially a biblical educator, that they meant good or had good intentions. I don't feel any need to actually lean in on what I think their intentions were. I only have power over what I understood was being told to me to actually live a healthy life.
Yes.
And what I was being told was inaccurate.
Yeah.
But at no point, because there are songs in here that I could actually literally flag and say, see, everything that I'm saying right here is actually wrong. For me to heal from this is not how to look at it. But meanwhile, it's a really banger song, so go crank it up, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, I just wanted to lean in on what the actual solution is. There is me putting focus on what I have control over, because at any point I could have left, and, you know, eventually did.
Yes. So that's so important. And that's something I didn't realize till quite a while after the fact, is like, I was so afraid to lose like the dysfunction that I was comfortable in. Yeah, that's such a big element to that. It's like I didn't have the courage to leave. You know what I mean? I was so used to sitting in shame, sitting in, you know, the almost at times toxic accountability. I kept trying to challenge, and, you know, that didn't ever go well. Some of these concepts and different things like that. And I realized very quickly that, hey, like, I'm not going to succeed here, but I don't believe in myself. I have such little self-worth. I'm kind of a fraud in my own way. So, like, this is kind of my life, and I need to make this work. Like, I was trying to take ownership over absolute chaos that, like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to thrive in. My family wasn't going to be able to thrive in, but I didn't have the courage to leave. That's such a big part. You know, it's like, I'm not a victim to anything but my own choices.
That's the point. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to miss that, but I do want to go back to your side of that story with the music and how your journey's been on that. And I do want to play Lycanthrope.
Yes. I love this. This is my favorite one.
Lycanthrope, I want to give a little context to it. I am a male survivor of homosexual abuse that I received as a young teenager. I wasn't even a teenager yet. So it was that tween age period of about 2.5 years. And there was a connection made in doing this work. I set out to do the healing of male sex abuse while also navigating this addiction to lust, because I wasn't even actively doing any of the things and didn't the entire relationship. But apparently, you know, I did enough in my past that warranted all of these extreme measures.
Yes.
But this core issue that was boiling up and couldn't be denied anymore was now begging for some attention. And so as I started seeking this recovery, it actually took a sidestep to then now this other form of my new recovery was taking priority over this. So the song's parody is surrounding the movie American Werewolf in London. The scariest movie I have ever seen in my life. And I remember being 6 years old, totally inappropriate, that my mother and family allowed me to watch said movie. It was a Sunday afternoon in the middle of the daylight. It didn't matter what time of day it was because this movie scared the hell out of me. I was sitting on the edge of the fold-out couch, just like this close to the screen. And the jump scare from the main character being in the hospital bed in the woods and just like his face turning green and whatever, I literally was like catapulted across the room and just remember like the jump scare physically threw me across the room. In digging through my trauma, I was told that I became my abuser. And that even though I wasn't abusing homosexually, I was abusing heterosexually. That basically everything that was done to me, I was doing to the women that I chose to be in relationships with. And so this was some very raw journals that I actually did. I have all of this work that fed the creative engine to create this song off of this parody of that movie. And it leans in onto wanting that dark-haired nurse that was from the movie that just so loved the werewolf that she would love the beast out of him, and that I would seek to find some woman who would love what I felt was a beast in me because of what happened to me as a kid. And, you know, but at the same time, am I an abuser now? Did I learn from that experience that to get what you want, you have to beg and please? This is the most proud moment of the song. We all know the saying, beg and plead. But as a nice guy, beg and please fits better. That I beg, and I'm going to do whatever it is that you want to make you pleased so that I can get what I want.
Right.
Yep.
Crank it up.
God, that fucking hit, dude.
I was 6 years old, sitting crouched too close to the screen. Watched the man on the hospital bed turn into something sick and green. I bounced off the cushions, terrified, but something stuck in the back of my mind. A monster sleeping in the dark, someone to love, leaving a permanent mark. Someone to hold me in the cold, dark-hairedness. Someone to love, the beast, reverse the curse. Someone to hold me in the cold, do what you do, do what you do. He taught me how to be by the werewolf. He sunk his teeth and shared the disease. He taught me how to hunt the woods. He taught me how to beg and plead. It wasn't something in the water, it was the venom in the bite. Whatever's done inside the door, we drag it screaming to the light. They taught me how to lay the trap, how to project the porn on the reel. Hunting ghosts in the sky, how to dissociate the fact, how to forget the way it feels. Hunting ghosts in the shape of women, looking for the shadow of his face, trying to make them attack me. Someone trying to put me in my place. Someone to hold me in the cold, dark-hairedness. Someone to love, the beast, reverse the curse. Someone to hold me in the cold, do what you're told, do what you're told. He told me that I was bitten by the werewolf. He sunk his teeth and shared the disease. He taught me how to hunt the woods. He taught me how to beg and plead. It wasn't something in the water, it was the venom in the bite. Whatever's done inside the dark, we drag it screaming to the light. Please me to get what he wanted. He had to please me to get what he wanted. He had to please me to get what he wanted. I learned the hard. I learned the scream. I learned the hard. Inside the machine. I learned the hard. I learned the scream. I learned the hard. Inside the machine. Waiting for the jump scare. I see the teeth now. I see the trap. Ooh. I am awake.
Woo!
Fuck yeah, dude.
Damn. You know, my favorite part about this, right? And give the context that you gave for it. It's like he sunk his teeth and he shared the disease. It's like that's that generational curse, that trauma that comes with being a victim of sexual abuse. Because like myself too, I was homosexual, male sex abuse. It was probably around like 10 years old. And it's like, oh shit, like I've become this thing, this monster. There's a piece of your soul that feels dirty. You know, anybody who's been through any form of like sexual abuse, I guarantee you can relate with this, right? And then it's like the part is like it taught me how to lay the traps, you know, how to project the porn on the reel. And it's like, oh God, like that was for me, like because that was kind of the center of the cohort we were mentioning. It was sexual addiction, you know, sexual trauma, and all this lust, you know, addiction, all these elements. And for me, my pornography struggle with that was, it was never about sex. It was never about sex. It was just hardcore pornography was introduced to my home at such a young age, and I had been through this sexual abuse and this experience. I didn't know what happened to me. I didn't know where to register this, and then I found pornography, and I was like, "Oh, this is what happened to me. This is what sex is. This is what love is. This is what connection is." And like you said, like I when I became in a relationship with my spouse, what was my ex-wife, dude, I transferred all that nastiness to her, and I did become abusive in different ways. I was so absent and so what's the word? I didn't know what it was. And I had no understanding of connection, of love, of any of these things. And then what we were being taught inside of these groups and these cohorts, I think they meant well, like not trying to make up their intentions, but it wasn't correct either. It was an extreme of this version of healing and recovery, and we were viewed as these monsters, these addicts, these abusers, these, pick your label, right? And then like the first song I listened to, like, I got so comfortable in shame. I was like, oh, this is just home. This is the normal. This is default. And man, this song hits me. I love the atmosphere of it. It's powerful. I love the drums in it. They're fantastic. The guitar solo is like, dude, oh my God, I love it. I love to shred. I grew up a shredder, so this one really speaks to me. And that dark-haired nurse, I think anytime I was in a relationship with a woman, which wasn't very often, like I wanted her to be that dark-haired nurse, to love this werewolf, this monster that it only comes out sometimes. Werewolves, it's full moon. For us, it's like we're not evil people. We're not just like beating our spouses or just raping people. But sometimes I was like, shit, like I didn't have an understanding of intimacy or like sex or anything. My only example was what I was taught through this disease being shared with me, if you will, of pornography was my only example. And I thought that was the norm. I thought that's how you were intimate with a partner, and she went through her own struggles, and she had a history of sexual abuse and different things like that. We both had very traumatic backgrounds. So trying to make it work was very difficult. And then when we got help, we really clung to that help, even though it was an unhealthy, in my opinion, it was unhealthy and it was very toxic. The experience we went through and the tools that we were giving, and they didn't work. And they didn't work because there was such a misdirection of the information, of the psychology of it, of the spirituality of it, of the mental information, of the heart information, right? And the tactics that they were using for healing, they didn't work. They amplified it, and they created victimhood. They created punishment. They created more pain and more trauma. And now it's like you just supercharged the werewolf. It took a long time to get out of that because there was a lot of damage done. And when I heard this song, it really inspired me. I was like, hey man, like that happened, that was a traumatic moment when you sold everything, when you compromised yourself to try to save your marriage. And, the intention was nice, but it's time to take that power back. It's time. You can't live there anymore. And that's, man, it inspired me to pick the guitar back up. It inspired me to get back on the drum set and awaken this passion that I used to have. And man, I thank you for it. That's one of my favorite songs ever.
So Jordan, you're not off the hook yet. You know that this music was created by AI.
Mm-hmm.
You know that I produced the music. You know that I have every single track separated and leveled in a mastering platform. And I invite you to do the guitar solo.
All right. Challenge accepted. But yeah, challenge accepted. We will produce a collaboration on this with real instrumentation, and it's going to be fantastic, dude. And thank you for that, because I needed it, man. It's very fun. I was smiling ear to ear, man.
The concept of that being possible, of having that shared experience, and to now actually put the threat of AI replacing things and it actually being something that could be, however significant or insignificantly, to inspire a real person who lost the dream to then have a vehicle to reawaken that passion and to have and I don't care if it's as slick as that AI tool was or whatever, because you're going to bring the grit that song needs. And I hope it's out of tune. I hope the rhythm is off, and I hope it sounds awful, because at the end of the day, that's my brother who laid that track.
No, thank you, man. And just honor and praise to you. For anybody that's listening to this, the point of doing this podcast is I think we're in desperate need of human connection, in real authentic creativity. And that 2% that we talked about, that 2% is something that it's so crucial. You know, we could fill the prompts, but for that 2% to polish it off, it takes a human touch. And what's beautiful about what you're doing with these things is you're giving people the gift of your story, of your testimony. Our good friend JR, Justin, was there in Branson last weekend for the, shout out to the Warriors Way Mindset, where we all met. We had our meetup, and our good friend JR Harvey gave a speech about, sharing your story. And everybody is so afraid to share their story for whatever reason. They think they have to have this polished up Instagram perfect highlight reel. It's like, no. We have to understand that everyone's in the shit. We're all in the trenches. We're all trying to figure this out. And your story, Noel, has pieces that I need. Justin, your story has pieces that I need. And my story has pieces that you guys need. And somebody, if whoever listens to this, I don't care if you listen to it or not. I don't want anything from you. My only intention was this, is like, I hope it gives you a piece that you need. And it inspires you to start growing, to start doing better, to start challenging these hurdles and these curses, and just take your power back, take your life back, man. And let's stop dividing each other through gender wars and music genre labels and AI slop versus creativity, left versus right, gay versus straight, all the bullshit that's out there. And we all have so much more in common than we realize. Way more than we have opposing us. And music is one of the best connectors, and that's why what you're doing is so beautiful. And it'll remain. Long after you're gone, this music that you're creating will serve others, and it will inspire others to share their story and to write your own music, write your own poetry, create your own movie. And it's such a beautiful concept. And I thank you for having the courage to explore some of these concepts, as dark as they were. I don't view you in any way that's negative. I have a mass respect for you for being vulnerable and to share these things and to overcome and to take that power back and to create something beautiful out of the shit. It's fantastic, Noel.
The idea of healing from that type of abuse, the measuring stick of being able to talk about it is that you can talk about it in a way that is neutral. It doesn't get you upset. It doesn't, make you excited. Like that you're able to say it as if you were saying, like, pass me the salt. And so getting to the point to where not only do I have a song about it, the thing that I actually swore I would never tell another human being. When I escaped Atlanta, go to Texas, I said, this never happened. This was telling to myself, this never happened. You're never telling anyone about it. And if anything ever comes up where you feel like you need to say that something like this happened, it happened with a girl. And for me to live a lifetime of my own self, like there was time periods when we would do our inventory where I couldn't remember anything prior to that time period. I couldn't remember anything of my childhood. It was a blocked memory. And so through brain spotting and through literally saying, come on, what's out there? Like who's blocking me? I'm now on the other side of it, of saying that, like, yeah, not only can I talk about it as if it's, make me a sandwich or something. It's, listen to this banger we created, like, yeah, that's what that song's about. So crank it up. Courage. It's necessity.
Absolutely.
The goal of the platform is that it is a living journal. It is a living diary. It's a living experience of where people can share what's going on with the music that's going on, so that people can see, well, do I connect to this? And is this something authentic? And I love what you said, Jordan, in terms of the goal of what episodes like this would be. It's what the music is trying to do. It's us having discussions around these heavy topics. Hopefully we can have some light topics also, but topics that actually have a purpose.
Yes.
So
absolutely. And our good friend Ricky, again, shout out Warriors Way Mindset, fantastic program. If anybody's out there struggling, like, there is help. There's communities for you. You find purpose on the journey, not after. Like, you find it along the way. And, God, I believe that God is an opportunist, man. Whatever your spiritual flavor is. I myself as a Christian, I'm not a Christ follower. Like, I'm a Christian. Like, that name's got a lot of flack, but I'm not going to change the label. I'm going to take power back. And we do that through our story. We do that through our actions, our behaviors, and, just enjoy the process. Because you are where you are because there's a purpose and you have to find it. There's a meaning to it. There's a piece in there that is crucial for your journey. And, I hope that this podcast helps somebody find it. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, hey, roast us in the comments. Whatever, dude. Keep spreading hate. See how that works for you.
Yeah, and I won't be looking at the comments. I'll see you on the internet.
Yeah, I can't handle it. I'm like, oh no.
Honor to both of you guys, dude, for sharing your stories and shit, and the evolution you went through, man. The willingness to have to not stay in the familiar hell, but go to the unfamiliar heaven. The courage that took. Both of you guys, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thanks for being a part of it, Justin. Because Justin's a guy, like, he brings out the best in people. And I was like, man, if I'm left to my own devices, like, I'm gonna talk myself out of everything. So, like, I need Justin. Because Justin's a guy who encourages people to go for it. And it's fantastic, dude. So thanks for being here, Justin.
Can't wait to hear this song edited with your riff in there, man.
Oh, we'll have to get it soon. I'm working on it. Let's go, boys.